Movie Life episode 80. Recording this a day early because it's snowing and raining outside in New York and I had nothing better to do, so since I'm traveling to Syracuse tomorrow I figured I'd put it up today. This week's movie is Robocop, the remake starring Joel Kinnaman, best known from AMC's The Killing, a show that I enjoyed and enjoyed him on. So I had slightly higher expectations or positive feelings going into this one than a lot of the people my age who are just resentful that it's a PG-13 remake or reboot because a lot of people enjoy the pornographic violence of the first one. I enjoyed the first one for what it was, and it certainly is better than the reboot. But let me start with the positive sort of the new one. Thematically I liked what they did in terms of an upgrade. Like the first one is about sort of urban decay and privatization, sort of the conflict of different things going on in the 80s between the rise of crack but also the rise of sort of heartless Republican policies, and that kind of comes together in old Detroit in the original 1987 Robocop. In this one it's more about privacy issues and security concerns and intrusion of government and law enforcement, which is obviously sort of applicable today given the NSA and things like that in the news. So I thought they did a good job in terms of upgrading the story and making it applicable to our future versus the future of people in the 80s. But that's the main positive. I also like the cast is pretty good. A lot of people who are sort of underused, guys like Michael Keaton and Gary Oldman, are very solid in the movie in their roles. Michael Williams, the guy who plays Omar on The Wire, he's fine in a small role. And I like the guy Joel Kinnaman, but he's basically locked up in a suit the whole movie. So the bad stuff about the movie is, and Samuel L. Jackson's in the movie, and he's fine, he's got like a humorous part. So let's start with the long list of bad. It's fairly uninteresting. I found myself really bored, like it's an hour and 48 minutes, and I literally felt like it was close to a 3-hour movie by the end of it. So much so that I laughed when Samuel L. Jackson went on a cursing tirade towards the end of the movie. Even though that's an entirely played out and tried sort of thing for him, I was so bored at that point that I kind of laughed. And it was intended to be funny, but I think if he'd done it in the beginning of the movie, I might not have laughed. I might have rolled my eyes and been like, we get it, Samuel L. Jackson, you enjoy saying motherfucker. But by the end of the movie, I was like, thank God for something mildly amusing. The plot moves along. The criminals are not as well developed as they were in the first one, and there's less action sort of Robocop, the new Robocop, as Robocop. It sort of takes an hour for him to become Robocop. Then there's like 10 minutes of him just doing Robocop duties, if you will, and then they have to sort of resolve the main plot. So I thought the first one was structured a lot better, the original, than this one. This one I think they wasted a lot of decent acting talent. And they had a good premise, but the execution is sort of weak and uninteresting, and it's neither creative enough and interesting enough to overcome the fact that it's not the first, and it doesn't have the visceral kind of action enjoyment of the first either. So that said, it's not as bad as I think people might think it is, but I'm gonna go C-. I mean, some people might give it an F that were fans of the first one, but I see an effort here, but it's not that great. Not worth seeing, to be honest. As much as I like the lead actor and want him to get good stuff, not worth seeing. Not even on cable. Just watch the original. Okay? So that's this week's review. Don't know if there will be a review next week because there's not. Well, I'll probably see Pompeii. That looks like a semi-piece of shit. So I'll probably see that. But then 2 weeks from today, Non-Stop with Liam Neeson. So finally, the first movie of 2014 that I'm actually kind of looking forward to. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe. And that's it. Have a good week.
Wanna get the feeling, gotta get the feeling.